The curiosity of a 4-year-old ends in flames. A child playing with a lighter started the fire. Now 5 families no longer have a place to call home.
I'm just worried about my daughter and my son-in-law, and they're working, they don't know what's going on, and there's no phones, and we can't get to them, and they can't get here, and they're going to be devastated.
The fire moved so fast, TJ Glaza now has to figure out where to get shoes.
We forgot our shoes, yeah, but we're in our 90s.
Flames in this fire quickly got out of control because it took crews a long time to get here. 10 to 15 miles from the nearest town, down a winding, twisted road.
So the fire gets a good seat, gets quite a bit involved before we actually first arrived.
Embers started a small grass fire outside that hand crews quickly put out. But inside, the flames were a dangerous inferno.
We have welding gases and quite a bit of fire. Roof's starting to come in.
And given the remote location of the fire, even a small swimming pool became a source of water. The source of concern for firefighters is this corrugated metal warehouse a fit place for 5 apartments, a place where people should have been living.
What they have out here, we're going to look into that. It's a little more than what we would expect to find out in this area, and especially type of construction and what the use was.
Still, it was home to kids and families, but all is not lost.
I know I have a job to go to. I know I can still support my family, and I have lots of friends. I can handle it.
Today, this is a landmine. And this transport is now badly damaged. Mechanics from the 1st to the 184th creep up to inspect, first for booby traps, then to assess if the truck needs a tow. Their compatriots keep a sharp eye out for the enemy. This is not war, but it's close. It's training for war.
We watch the news, and we picked the kind of thing that you might see in a Bosnia or in Afghanistan.
So it's clear these soldiers are not on friendly soil. Sharpshooters move into position, and when targets pop up, machine guns mow them down. But there's more trouble. Coming over the hill, a convoy of enemies. Above these soldiers, ordnance takes aim. Lobbing mortar shots, live fire.
It's important that you realize that the tools that we use, the rifles and the mortars, the machine guns, do have a lot of destructive power.
But there's another power behind the military, the power of preparation. It looks simple enough, putting up a tent, but in war, you'll never know where you need shelter.
You gotta have knowledge of the battlefield, you gotta have knowledge of technical and tactical training that we're gonna be doing out here, and you gotta know how to perform at a moment's notice.
We just want to get over there and do our part. I know my men are anxious and they've been working really hard, and we're ready.
Ready for live fire, ready to survive.
The Santa Ynez Valley has long been considered the horse breeders' Kentucky of the West. Winners of horse racing's major events have been trained or bred here.
The history of Santa Ynez is horses. There were some tax law changes in the middle of the 80s, and horses started to kind of disappear. Farming got less and less profitable, and little by little, the potential for wine came about.
This Santa Ynez property was once a racehorse rehabilitation center. The celebrated Secretariat even recuperated here. Then, just a few years ago, about 40 acres of wine grapes, mostly Syrah, was planted here on the property, and Bridlewood Winery was born. It's considered by some to be Santa Barbara County's most beautiful winery.
Wanted to create a place where people can come here, reflect on their daily lives.
Lushly landscaped rose gardens on a 105-acre mission-style estate, complete with picturesque ponds. This horse farm is still home to a couple dozen Arabians, including this half Arabian that just months ago won 2 national championships. All of this surrounded by vines. In 1999, Bridlewood made 20,000 cases of wine and has since doubled production.
This year we're at our capacity. We went all the way up to about 53,000 cases. Of that, 30,000 cases was Syrah. For me, the really wonderful thing is to make great wine. That is my goal.
Bridlewood Winery owner Corey Holbrook had a vision.
When people come here, it's a place where they can get a nice breadth of what the wine country lifestyle is all about, and hopefully be happy with a good bottle of wine.
In Santa Ynez wine country, Wendy Teese, KSBY 6 Action News.
Freedom of expression is something we celebrate on Independence Day. Some celebrate a little bit louder. And that brings them to the Oceano Dunes. This 4 miles of beach gives new meaning to the term coastal highway. And if this is a highway,
we're very aggressive on DUI arrests.
This is one of the traffic cops.
Consider the 4th of July the Super Bowl for the Rangers because it's the day when everybody's coming over to the coast.
And we do mean everybody, as many as 50,000 people by the end of the holiday weekend. They come to take in the salt air and to let out the air in their tires, a necessity for driving on the beach. And it wouldn't be the Central Coast without a battle against the wind.
It's basically just the wind. The wind's not doing us too good.
But mostly, they come here to play in the sand on 2 wheels, 3 wheels, or 4 wheels. And that means a busy day for the Rangers. So many people are here, special tape is strung just to keep the beach access clear for emergencies. And the first one comes at about 7:30 in the morning.
Apparently 3 guys stole my son's truck that he's been working on for 5 years.
John Jones has been making the drive from Bakersfield to the dunes for 25 years. On this morning, he caught the suspect red-handed trying to speed away in his son's stolen truck with a flat tire. John wrestled the man to the ground and held him until the Rangers showed up. A good thing because only 4 Rangers are on duty most of this day for 3,600 acres of state park. And part of the Rangers' job is about courtesy.
Hi, sir. Can you do me a big favor? Your dog, yeah, definitely needs to be on a leash.
But most of it is about safety. This motorcyclist was stopped for speeding. This young man was seen riding his ATV without a helmet, even though it was sitting only a few yards away. And this off-roader was taking his 3-year-old for a ride, but 2 riders on 1 bike is against the rules. Still, there's more fun here than there are problems.
Pretty much the party's on the beach, and then afterwards you get to go have fun out here in the dunes.
But that fun can end in a flash. By midday, the first call for an injury accident. A young man from Anaheim riding his motorcycle on a sand dune for the first time ends up with a broken arm.
Saw him come over the crest, and he just landed on the upside of the next one.
While daytime can be wild, everywhere there are signs that nighttime parties here are even wilder.
A lot of them are just here to recreate and have a good time. And the ones that we deal with are just sometimes just folks that just have a little too much of a good time.
A typical holiday weekend here on the dunes can see as many as 4 times more people than the average weekend, many of them speeding by on off-road vehicles with no way to see what looks to be an 80-foot drop until the very last moment.
A lot of our accidents involve just inexperience, people that aren't really experienced in driving or riding in the dunes.
By early afternoon, a pair of dune accidents have the Rangers scrambling. One woman appears to have run through a fence marking the outer boundary of the park. The Rangers will have to transport her back out because even an off-road ambulance can't get in. The ambulance does take away 2 victims of a dune buggy accident who made their way out to the beach. But for dune riders, it's all about freedom. And on this 4th of July, that freedom can come at a price.